Pride is an opportunity for you to create your own space, to celebrate your existence.
I was still kind of in the closet, so I just watched. And last year, I actually marched with my boyfriend. It was really empowering. Actually, I think it was one of the movements that made me come out to my parents.
Queer people don't deserve to just be a footnote in history books.
We have to acknowledge the people in the past and in the present who are fighting for our rights.
If there's one thing they've taught me, it's always to fight for equality, always to make sure that everyone has a voice. I think that's just in the spirit of pride.
Being able to celebrate pride is a privilege that not everybody in the community has, but everyone in the community should have.
Around the world, people are being persecuted for their gender identity and for their sexual orientation. We need spaces where we can talk about the issues that we still face. And we need these spaces to be intersectional.
Pride is for everyone, but it's not always kind of marketed that way, I guess.
Most times it ends up being a little more white, a little more male, a little more cisgender than the community actually is.
I'm a white gay man. I represent the most visible demographic in the LGBT community, but there's so much more we can do to celebrate men and women of colour in the community, trans people and non-binary people.
By going to Pride, I realized that there are a multitude of identities that I still have yet to be introduced to.
Still asexuals and demisexuals and other people who I'm sure I'm not even aware of yet, who haven't had any light brought to them yet.
And I think that's why Pride is so great, because it gives a whole bunch of people this visibility that they've never really had before.
We still need Pride in 2018 because there are a lot of voices that are not heard.
I think it's important to celebrate Pride because a lot of people are still struggling to come out.
So many people have been told for so long that it's not okay to be who you are.
I'm tired of people saying asexuality is not a thing because you just haven't met the right person to have sex with, whether it be a girl or a guy or somewhere in between.
I go to Pride to create a space for myself.
It's almost as important to me as like the holidays around December, and I get this sort of giddiness, and I realize that in itself is worth celebrating.
I went to my first Pride March as this young teenager, realizing that there was this whole other community out there.
I made the decision to march at the very front of the parade, and it was the first time in my life I was ever presenting as openly gay. And I was just so scared that someone would judge me for that. That was a decade ago. Today I will happily hold my husband's hand as I walk down the street, and Pride is how I got here.
Don't box me in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all glitter and rainbows, but when it is, it's not necessarily for you to wear.